I am back now. It feels so good to be back here sitting in front of this camera with all my equipment finally set up. I appreciate you guys being patient. Most of you probably have noticed that I took a bit of a hiatus from YouTube. And it wasn't planned or intentional. It's just kind of one of those things that happens. My baseball career is in full effect here still, and I had an unfortunate series of events with my shoulder and just being active and being healthy and available so I can be on the field with my teammates. But those things do seem to be in the rearview now. We've kind of finally made some progress, overcame that hump. So I'm looking forward to being back out there as we make our playoff push these last few weeks of the season as we continue moving forward here with the Cleveland Railroaders. It's been such a fun summer, but also emotionally for me, just probably the toughest season of my life, I will say. But just every year it's crazy. I always tell people like the teammates, the camaraderie, and just the friendships that I make, the relationships. It's like it seems like it can't get better, but every year, each successive season, it just continues to do so. And so I owe so much to the guys in the locker room and just like on the field, just everything that goes into being involved with the team, keeping me grounded and also just kind of keeping me sane through this time as I work through some injury stuff. But you guys aren't here to listen to me talk about baseball. That's not really important. Just wanted to give you kind of an update on that and where I'm at. I do want to say one more thing though. Thank you so much to just the members of the UT content creators community. Guys like Fanatic Perspective, Stephen and Gotti, obviously, Ty Hayes at ATS, and Texas Homer, man, Texas Football Talk with Clinton Jeremy, and I know I'm forgetting somebody. Ninos Corner even reached out a few times, and then of course, last but not least, Texas Platinum, the crew over there, man. It's just been so cool, them keeping me informed and filled in when I can't really be here, even though as bad as I wanted to be, just continuing to post content and bring you guys good stuff with all the latest as far as everything concerning Texas Longhorns football. But those guys are holding it down, man. It's cool to just still kind of be grouped in with them, listening to them chat it up, and just seeing all the stuff that they're doing behind closed doors. And we got so much exciting things ahead. We are right in the middle of football season now. We got the Hall of Fame game tomorrow. The Dallas Cowboys are playing actual real live NFL football tomorrow on television. I think it's tomorrow night at 7 o'clock Eastern, so I cannot wait for that. I believe this past Sunday was the last Sunday up until February of 2022 without football. So for me, this is just the absolute best time of the year. I can't even describe how excited I am right now. Like I said, we're making our playoff push with baseball on the field. I'm finally feeling healthy again. Pumped about that. And we got just football. Like we're 30 some odd days away from college football being back. We got Texas and OU joining the SEC. We got Cowboys featured on Hard Knocks next Tuesday. I believe it's Tuesday the 10th. So there's so much stuff that I can't even explain how excited I am right now. This is the absolute best time of the year for me. But just like I said, quick update here, and I'll be on my way. We have a two-week road trip coming up. So without all this fancy equipment, I'll be doing the best I can to bring you guys some more content as I see fit, just regarding news and notes and the latest and greatest with all things Cowboys. There's about to be a plethora of information thrown out there. Dak Prescott recovering from injury. I'll hit briefly on that as well. Anytime you're basically debilitated, right? Dak wasn't able to do much with his lower half after that surgery that he had from his injury in Week 5 last year against the Giants, doing his rehabilitation. But he's also got to stay on top of his throwing, his arm care, right? Keeping his arm strong and in shape. So when you're sitting down throwing, it changes the kinematic sequence of the throw itself. So that's just, there's no secret as to why, certain muscles start to shoulder the load, no pun intended, of the throw that aren't used to having to do so. So if you're sitting down, first of all, and then throwing to a stationary target, your lower body isn't able to be incorporated into the throw. So it's just really easy to see. I don't have to sit here and explain to you guys why that's different, throwing something, a football or anything for that matter, standing up as compared to sitting down. And it's a much different thing. And he even admitted in one of his interviews with 105 Through the Fan, Jeff Kavanaugh and Brian Broaddus, that he basically just said, that's exactly what happened, and he attributes the injury, the soreness to exactly that. So Me as a overhead thrower myself, I can attest. I can see where that would be 100% the case, and so just wish him the absolute best moving forward. Hopefully, he can be back on the field sooner rather than later. I did see on Twitter a poll a couple days back after, right as the injury had just kind of came out. People saying, should Dak play in the Hall of Fame game? And there was 4 different choices, A, B, C, or D, and then the one with him playing in it was leading the poll by like 40%. It was like a 70% of Cowboys Nation on Twitter wanted to see him play in that game. I respectfully, I could not disagree more. It's the last thing we need is to see another Tony Romo type deal happen back in 2016. The back injury again, and that ultimately led to what we now know today of the Dak Prescott era as our franchise player. Anyway, so I don't have to speak about why that's not a good idea for him to be out there this early in a meaningless game. But for other guys, for Dak, it's maybe meaningless, and for some fans, but for other guys, guys like 10 of the 11 draft picks that the Cowboys invested on the defensive side of the ball, this is an audition. We got guys fighting for jobs. We got rookies that are, getting their first NFL action. That's not in a practice-controlled environment setting. And then we have, of course, sophomores, right, second-year players that were part of last year's draft class that didn't have a preseason, that didn't really get a chance to get their feet wet, not only in a new environment with a new team, but also entirely new system, right? With the Cowboys bringing in Mike Nolan and the whole crew on the defensive side of the ball there. So it was not really a good scenario to be breaking into the NFL last year. And so we got guys maybe, from last year's draft class that can kind of gain some momentum and some confidence stepping forward into the season. And the same thing with this year's rookie class, 10 out of the 11 guys. I can't wait to see Micah Parsons. Obviously, we passed on Rashawn Slater. So credit to Stephen Jones and to Will McClay and the rest of, the talent evaluators there on the front lines of just the scouting department, sticking to their guns and going with their gut with Micah Parsons there, passing up on a few other guys that I may have preferred as far as guys that I liked best, who we did have the most up-to-date information on as far as them playing last year and not sitting out. But hearing nothing but great things from Micah Parsons in camp so far. Credit to Mike Fisher for keeping us up to date and in the know there. So I can't wait to see that. I can't wait to see Kelvin Joseph, the second-round pick this year for the Cowboys. Osa Odigizua, who I'm hearing nothing but great things from again as well on the defensive line, which is the most important unit that I will be paying the most attention to this year for not only for the remainder of the preseason games, but throughout the rest of camp and practice after the Cowboys head back from Oxnard. So those 3 guys in particular, seeing a healthy Leighton Vander Esch, and then, just guys like, honestly, Trevon Diggs just continuing to develop and grow. Those ball skills that I'm seeing on tape from all these camp clips are incredibly exciting to me. So I just can't wait for that. So I want to close with this too. We all know, if you don't know, actually, Carson Wentz is going to be having foot surgery to repair the 5th metatarsal, which is I believe the outside bone, like on the outside of his foot. It's just crazy the impact that this guy's still having on the Cowboys franchise, but not just the Cowboys itself, but obviously the other 2, most notably, right, the Colts, who traded for him to be their franchise player, and then also the Eagles as well, who had a contingency first-round pick in exchange for Carson Wentz's services, right? So for me, it's important because, and obviously, I wish Carson Wentz nothing but the best and a healthy and speedy recovery, but if he doesn't log 70% of the snaps, or I'm sorry, 75% of the snaps, or 70%, and also leads them to the playoffs, the Colts secure a playoff spot, then if he doesn't do that, then the Eagles will, they basically will no longer be afforded a first-round pick. So it's kind of crazy. So if let's just assume that, that he's got a 5 to 12 week recovery timetable there. Let's just say worst case scenario for the Colts, he misses anywhere between 6 to 8 weeks. Well, that puts us at minimum, we're 3 to 4 weeks already into the season there. If he misses 12 weeks, we're halfway through the season basically. So that gives the Eagles no chance virtually of securing that first round pick. And don't forget, they have also their own first round pick as well as the pick from Miami as well. So potentially 3 first round picks in next year's draft. And, obviously as Cowboys fans, we want them to have the least amount of draft capital as possible. So, it's crazy. Carson Wentz is still having an impact on not just one franchise, but 3 as well. And I guess if you want to lump in the Washington football team and the New York football Giants in there as well, it could technically be 5 because, every team within its own division is rooting against the other 3. So anyways, guys, I appreciate y'all listening. Like I said, stay tuned for more content coming soon. We have a 2-week road trip coming up, but I'm going to be doing everything I can without all this fancy technology in here to bring you guys all the latest and greatest. So with that, go Cowboys, hook 'em horns, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Peace.